The story opens in Alaska, a land of extreme cold. Because of rapidly increasing global warming, the ice across Alaska began to melt slowly. Over time, the ice sheet thinned, and one day an ancient being emerged from beneath it. This creature was Wyvern, a terrifying ice dragon. Nearby, a fisherman was cleaning fish in a pool formed by the melting ice. While removing the bones, he accidentally cut his finger. He dipped his hand into the water to wash the wound. The moment a single drop of blood touched the water, the dragon awakened. Wyvern had been trapped under the ice for 10,000 years and was starving. Without hesitation, it attacked the fisherman. The helpless man struggled desperately to escape, but the dragon surrounded him, leaving no chance of survival. Close to the site of this incident lies a small town called Beaver Mills, where life continued as normal. In Alaska, days and nights stretch unusually long, making life difficult for outsiders. One such outsider was Jake, a former truck driver. After his brother died in an accident, Jake left driving behind and became a carpenter. At the moment, he was doing repair work at a small restaurant. Claire, who worked there, watched him closely. Since Jake was working late, Claire decided to bring him a cup of coffee. Before she could, David, the town's well-known doctor, stepped in. He took the coffee and asked Claire if she would go out with him. Claire refused him again for nearly the 10th time. As usual, David walked away, clearly irritated. Later, Claire apologized to Jake and said she had meant the coffee for him. She then invited him inside to eat if he wanted. Jake was hungry, so he accepted the offer. Inside the diner, he noticed an elderly woman named Edna. She always ordered breakfast for two, one for herself and one for her husband. Edna was actually the wife of the fisherman who had recently been killed. She was still unable to accept her husband's death. Claire realized Jake was carrying a similar pain. She gently comforted him, saying that wherever his brother was, he must be at peace. Jake was not ready to talk about his loss. He quietly finished his coffee and went home. Elsewhere, a retired colonel was feeding his dog. Suddenly, a large deer's head fell from the sky into his garden. The shocking news spread quickly through the town. With only one radio station in the area, its reporter delivered the story to everyone. Most people believed it was just a prank by local kids. In truth, it was a warning of something far more dangerous. Jake ignored the news and returned to his van. Shortly after, Dr. David arrived. He examined Jake's hand and offered to treat the injury. The medical check was merely an excuse. David really wanted to know whether Jake had feelings for Claire. Jake shut him down, saying that once he received the insurance money from his brother's accident, he would leave. He made it clear that he had no intention of staying there forever. The doctor seemed pleased and said there was no need to pay. He told Jake to inform them if any other problem arose. On his way back, David stopped his car near the woods to relieve himself. At that moment, he heard a loud noise from above. When he looked up, he saw the same ice dragon. The dragon moved toward the car and suddenly attacked. David ran into the woods and hid for a while. Believing the creature had gone, he returned to his car. As he tried to start the engine, the dragon reappeared. This time, it killed David. The next day, a local hunter named Hayes went into the woods. He noticed strange marks on the ground and droppings from an enormous animal. No creature of that size was known to live in those woods. Soon after, Wyvern the ice dragon appeared before him. Hayes fired his gun, but the dragon easily avoided the shot. The gunfire was heard by Inspector Dosan, who was speaking with Jake outside the diner. They followed the sound into the woods. There, they found Hayes in a state of shock. He claimed he had seen a massive monster flying overhead. He said he had barely escaped and described it as unbelievably huge. The chef dismissed his story. He assumed Hayes was panicking and casually told him to report to the police station. At that moment, Jake noticed a severed hand in the woods. The shirt sleeve and watch matched those worn by Dr. David. Since Jake had met him just the day before, he recognized it instantly. The inspector could not make sense of the situation. Meanwhile, Hayes continued to warn that the creature was extremely dangerous. He insisted it would kill everyone in town. Although there was no solid proof of a dragon, the doctor's severed hand was undeniable. The sheriff then called an emergency meeting at the restaurant. He informed the townspeople that an unknown creature was attacking locals. Ash did not fully believe the story. Still, the sheriff advised everyone to be cautious. He told them to stay indoors as much as possible. Just then, Deputy Susie arrived carrying the doctor's hand. Panic spread through the room. The sheriff firmly ordered that no one should enter the woods alone. He warned everyone to protect themselves and their pets. A traditional festival held every year in the town was approaching. People began asking what would happen to the celebration. Jake interrupted angrily, questioning how a festival could matter when a man had been killed. He argued that the event could easily be delayed. The sheriff responded that outsiders could not understand their traditions. He insisted the festival would continue as planned. This decision was meant to prevent fear from taking over the town. After the meeting ended, the sheriff received a call. A man named Thomas reported that his farm had been attacked. The sheriff immediately set out for the farm. At the same time, retired Colonel Travis was investigating who had thrown 12 deer heads into his garden. Suddenly, he looked up and saw a massive dragon flying across the sky. He immediately drove off in his jeep to warn the police. On the way, the dragon suddenly appeared right in front of him. The colonel stepped out of the vehicle with his gun and began firing at the creature. Not a single bullet struck the dragon. Even so, the colonel managed to force it to retreat. After that, he rushed into town and told Deputy Susie everything. He claimed that aliens had invaded their world. Hearing this, Susie assumed the old man had lost his mind. She told the colonel to return home. Still, Susie felt it was was necessary to inform the sheriff. By then, the sheriff had already reached Thomas's farm. He was unable to answer her call. As he entered the horse stable, he called out Thomas's name. Suddenly, he slipped in a pool of blood. Lying on the ground, the sheriff saw Thomas's lifeless body. He was not accustomed to such brutal scenes. Overcome with fear, the sheriff fainted. Meanwhile, the colonel ran to Hatton at the radio station. He urged her to broadcast an emergency warning about the monster. Hatton refused, explaining she could not make such an announcement without government approval. The colonel was furious but powerless. He then went to his friend Farley, who was preparing food for the festival. Farley also refused to believe his story. Moments later, everyone was forced to believe the truth. The dragon appeared in town, right in front of the radio station. Seeing the creature, Hatton immediately tried to send a distress signal. The dragon destroyed a power pole within seconds.
The entire radio system went dead.
Back at Thomas's farm, the sheriff regained consciousness. Using his radio, he ordered Susie to send everyone home. Following his command, Susie made an announcement through a megaphone. She urged the townspeople to return to their houses. Suddenly, the massive dragon descended upon her. In a single brutal strike, it attacked and killed her with its enormous claws. The sight of the dragon sent the town into chaos. People began running in all directions. Panic spread everywhere. Claire and Jake rushed inside the restaurant. They heard screams and saw the dragon approaching. It smashed the diner's door with its sharp, powerful teeth and tried to enter. People hid behind tables in terror. After a short while, the dragon stopped attacking and flew away. It then began hunting and devouring people across the town. Soon after, Hatton and Farley reached the diner. They told everyone that the creature was killing people one by one. The townspeople were confused by this horrifying being. Claire suggested it might be a dragon from ancient legends. Hatton dismissed the idea as nonsense. However, Hayes argued that every culture has stories of such creatures. He explained that old legends speak of a dragon named Wyvern. According to those tales, Wyvern was born in hell and driven by endless hunger. According to the legend, the dragon originally fed only on evil people. Over time, its hunger grew so intense that it began devouring everyone. When it attacked Odin, the king of the gods, Odin trapped it inside a mountain of ice. Now, as the world's ice continues to melt, Wyvern may have been released once again. Claire asked Hayes how he knew this story. He explained that his family had migrated from Norway. These tales were passed down from their homeland. He recalled going fishing with his father as a child. His father used to say that when the ice melted, a dragon-like roar could be heard. He firmly believed it was Wyvern, destined to rise one day and destroy the world. Jake then asked if his father had ever mentioned how to kill the dragon. Hayes replied that he did not know how to kill it. He said the ancient Norwegians once sacrificed humans to calm the beast. Such a thing was impossible in modern times. Because of that, everyone dismissed the idea. Jake decided to find the sheriff and call for help. Claire insisted on coming with him. As they drove, they saw the dragon flying low and landing deep in the forest. Despite the danger, Jake said he needed to get closer. He wanted to find where the dragon was hiding. At the same time, the colonel was searching for the creature on another road. He noticed a trailer parked in the middle of the road. The vehicle appeared empty. Bloodstains covered both the inside and outside as if a struggle had taken place. Further ahead, he saw more vehicles. All of them were damaged and their passengers were missing. Back at the diner, Hatton tried to turn the radio on again. The system was completely dead. A short while later, the chef returned to town. He found destruction everywhere. Near Susie's megaphone, there was a large pool of blood. He attempted to call for help. Before he could, he saw the dragon flying straight toward him. Farley also spotted the creature. He shouted for everyone to hide inside the diner. As the sheriff tried to get inside, the dragon attacked. It grabbed him and carried him away. By then, Jake had reached the forest. He saw the dragon land nearby. He handed Claire a pistol and told her to stay in the car. He said he would take a closer look. Moving deeper into the woods, he discovered the dragon's massive nest. It had been built from scattered objects collected from the area. Claire waited nervously inside the car. Suddenly, she saw the dragon approaching. She tried to hide. The dragon smashed the car door and began attacking her. Summoning her courage, Claire fired the pistol at the creature. Jake heard the gunshot and ran back. When he reached the car, it was empty. The dragon was gone. Moments later, he spotted Claire deeper in the woods. She had barely escaped the dragon. Seconds after that, the colonel arrived. He had also heard the gunshots. He explained that vehicles were scattered all over the road. He believed the dragon wanted to keep people away from the area. That way, it would never run out of food. He concluded that there was only one solution. The dragon had to be killed. The colonel knew he could not face the creature alone. The three of them immediately headed back to town. Jake used the communicator to contact Hatton and asked him to reach the sheriff. Hatton then revealed that the sheriff had already been killed by the dragon. Hearing this, Jake began forming another plan. After some time, the three returned to the diner. They informed everyone about the location of the dragon's nest. However, they lacked proper weapons. They needed outside help, but the phone lines were dead. Hatton then remembered that there was a radio at his studio. To make it work, they needed a stronger bigger antenna. They realized a nearby store had one. Jake and Hatton rushed to the store to retrieve the antenna. On the way, they came across the sheriff's car. They took the weapons and ammunition from inside. These were handed to the colonel to distribute among the remaining survivors. After that, they continued toward the store. Jake climbed onto the roof and began removing the antenna screws. He carefully loosened them one by one. Suddenly, the dragon appeared again. Only one screw remained. Hatton pulled out his pistol and fired at the dragon. This distracted the creature and gave Jake enough time to remove the antenna. They rushed back to the diner, barely escaping with their lives. As soon as they got inside, Hatton installed the antenna and connected it to the radio. They adjusted the frequency and tried contacting the security agency. The signal was weak and barely reached them. The agent on the other end kept asking what was happening. Jake realized no one would believe a story about a dragon. He pretended to be the sheriff. He reported a massive gas explosion in the town. He said communication systems were down and many people were trapped. He urgently requested immediate assistance. Just then, the signal cut out again. The transmission ended abruptly. Now completely on their own, Jake made a decision. They would have to fight the dragon themselves. Everyone needed to gather weapons as quickly as possible. The group agreed and began preparing. Farley and Hayes went to collect fuel. At that moment, the dragon appeared on top of a nearby house. Farley panicked. The dragon struck him with its tail. He was badly injured. Jake immediately ran out of the diner to help him. The others continued attacking the creature. Meanwhile, inside the dragon's nest, Dr. David was revealed. He was still alive. The dragon had not killed him. He quickly removed his tie. He wrapped it around his arm to slow the bleeding. When he stood up, he noticed the dragon's eggs. Before he could react, the dragon returned. It grabbed him in its jaws and dragged him back toward the town. Meanwhile, Claire and Jake were resting inside the diner and drinking coffee, believing the dragon had left. They were talking when Hayes suddenly said that Wyvern had returned. Everyone rushed outside. They saw the dragon drop David onto the ground. It was as if the creature wanted them to come out and collect him. Jake immediately understood the trap. The dragon was trying to lure them. Even so, he could not abandon David. Jake ran forward to save him. When the dragon attacked, Jake fired his pistol. Ace and the colonel also opened fire. The dragon moved too quickly for their shots to be effective. Despite being badly injured, Farley charged forward and distracted the dragon. His risky move worked. Jake managed to drag David back into the diner safely. However, the dragon seized Farley and carried him away to its nest. The group was devastated by the loss of another companion. Soon after, a message came through the radio. Authorities had dispatched a rescue helicopter. As the helicopter neared the town, the dragon appeared again. It attacked the aircraft, killing the pilot and destroying it. Once more, the townspeople were left completely alone. Claire called for help, but David's condition was critical. With his final strength, David revealed something important. He said there were 3 eggs inside the dragon's nest. Moments later, he succumbed to his injuries. Jake addressed everyone with a grim decision. They had to go into the forest and destroy the dragon and its eggs. If the eggs hatched, stopping the creatures would become impossible. He asked Edna to stay behind. The rest of the group prepared to leave. After a long journey, they reached the forest. There, they discovered a power generator. It could produce a powerful electric current. They believed it might be enough to kill the dragon and the eggs. Using his technical skills, Hatton managed to reconnect the generator. Everyone took their positions. Jake was about to activate the system. Suddenly, the dragon landed and attacked them with its sharp tail. Jake, the colonel, and Claire fired continuously at the creature. At the same time, Hatton struggled to start the generator. The trap failed. The dragon escaped once again. Soon after, they found Hayes' body. Overcome with grief, the colonel lost control and started shooting at the eggs. Jake stopped him. He explained that the eggs could still be used as bait. They moved further down the road. Several abandoned vehicles blocked the path. Among them was a large cargo truck. Jake came up with a plan. He decided to use the truck to lure the dragon into a final trap. He chose to do it alone to protect the others. More than anything, he wanted to keep Claire safe, as feelings had begun to grow between them. Jake loaded the eggs into the truck. He started driving at full speed. Along the way, he kept honking the horn to draw the dragon's attention. After several kilometers, the dragon took the bait. It became caught in the trap. Furious, the creature began attacking the truck. Jake suddenly slammed the brakes. The dragon, charging at full speed, crashed into the back of the truck. Jake tried to drive away again. The dragon was injured, but not badly. It attacked once more and slammed itself against the windshield. Ahead, Jake saw a massive mountain blocking the road. He pushed the truck to full speed. At the last possible moment, Jake jumped out. The truck plunged down the mountainside. As it fell, the dragon and its eggs exploded. Both the creature and the eggs were completely destroyed. In this way, the deadly ice dragon named Wyvern was finally defeated. Back in the town center, the survivors waited anxiously. Claire stood there, hoping Jake would return safely. After a short while, Jake came back. He told everyone that the danger was finally over.
Jake then decided to stay in the town a little longer with Claire.
If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.